Hello, and welcome to an all-new edition of The Journey Continues. For our returning listeners, you'll notice that we've extended into the visual as well, allowing you to not only listen to the show on your favorite podcast platform, but watch as well on CAN-TV Cable Channel 19 in Chicago, or stream live or on demand from anywhere in the country via cantv.org or the CAN-TV Plus app.
And while the set is different and we've expanded to broadcast, the heart and soul of the show remains unchanged. Each episode will continue to promote kidney health, raise awareness about organ donation, and celebrate the resilience of the human spirit.
With that, let's head right on into our first segment, Donor Spotlight. This month, we're shining a spotlight on Milton Powell, my first kidney donor. During the week of Thanksgiving 2016, I received a phone call early one morning from a distant relative who asked if I was still waiting for a kidney. She knew of someone whose uncle had been fatally injured in an accident, and the family was preparing to donate his organs. She asked if she could share my name and number with the family, and I of course said yes. I thought, could this be the time my gift is coming? I was stunned. The organ procurement organization in Memphis, where Milton lived, called me, and I put them in touch with my transplant team. I received a whirlwind of calls that day, but the most important one was when Milton's daughter called me directly to tell me that her father was a match for me. His daughter's the same age as my own, and she signed the paperwork to donate her father's organs, earmarking his kidney for me through a process called direct deceased donation. That call saved my life, and I'm in awe of the young woman who had to make some very difficult decisions on what must have been the hardest day of her life. I also received a message from Milton's mom. She wanted to tell my mother that this was her gift to my mom. She said she was expecting great things of me because her son would have done great things. I'm so inspired by the courage of Milton's family, especially his daughter, for making the decision to donate his organs. Milton was a son, a father, a brother, an uncle, and a gregarious person who was so well loved by his family. Milton and his family gave me a gift, and it's a gift for which you cannot just say thank you. It's a gift that requires action, because the words thank you just aren't enough. Milton is my hero, and I continue to honor his legacy and the generosity of his family every day. To learn more about organ donation and the power of saying yes, visit nkfi.org/be-a-donor.
On the other side of a short break, the journey continues with a very personal edition of Ask the Expert, when our very own Monica Fox shares her journey as a 2-time kidney transplant recipient. Her daughter Olivia joins the conversation. Stay with us.
They say television is about sitting back. We say it's about stepping up. Your block has stories worth telling. Your neighbors have voices worth hearing. Chicago has a heartbeat worth sharing. Stop watching their world. Start showing yours. It's time to tune in and be seen. CAN-TV, always here, always yours. Experience the power of community television.
In 2013, my co-host Monica Fox went to the emergency room for what she thought was the flu and learned that her kidneys were failing. She woke up days later from a medically induced coma, having started dialysis treatments to save her life. After 3 years of in-center dialysis, she received the gift of life from this month's Spotlight donor, Milton. Sadly, after a serious case of COVID pneumonia in 2022, Monica learned her gift, her donated kidney, was failing. Now she and her daughter, Olivia Fox, are here to share the next chapter in their story with us. Thank you both for being here. Monica, I know you had to be here, but Olivia, thank you for joining us in our first episode.
Thanks for having me.
Monica, your whole life changed post-transplant, and I've heard you say that your work in organ donation and as an advocate and a coach for other kidney patients is your mission in life.
Yes.
So after working so hard to take care of yourself, how did it feel to learn that your precious donated kidney was at risk after that pneumonia?
Well, that was definitely a difficult pill to swallow, but I have a great team of nephrologists and cardiologists and pulmonologists, and so they worked real hard with me during that time. But cardiology tried to be gentle because the procedures that they do can really affect your kidney. So they were trying to protect my kidney function that I had left.
Trying to save that.
Trying to save that
kidney.
Mm-hmm.
So what sorts of complications were you faced with after that pneumonia?
So I had a lot of cardiac issues, AFib and cardiomyopathy, several other things, and also pulmonary issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
With breathing and.
Yeah, I couldn't breathe. I was short of breath everywhere I went.
Oh, gosh.
So for 3 years, I really would struggle to walk from the car to the door,
Wow.
Going places.
That had to be tough after living with a kidney transplant and feeling good again.
It was very difficult, very difficult.
What was it like transitioning back to in-center dialysis after that?
Well, I knew it was short-lived because Olivia had already come forward and gotten tested and was a match. And I knew much more about it than I did before. So I went into it open-eyed and knowing what I was dealing with and knowing that it wouldn't be a long time. So it was okay. It wasn't easy, but I could see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, manageable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Olivia, what was that like for you to see your mom in that vulnerable state again? You'd obviously gone through it once before in 2013. What was it like to see her back in that place?
It was kind of like here we are again in the same spot. A little bit, traumatic, traumatizing. I think at that time I was more worried about how she felt. I was more worried about, her having to go back on dialysis. I wanted her to be able to remain strong and confident so that, we could get through this piece of the journey. But I think overall I was just more worried about her, being able to get through that part.
Yeah, that's understandable. Your career has been shaped by your mom's story. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do for a living?
Yes, I am a transplant outreach coordinator at UI Health Hospital. I work for their transplant center. And every day I speak with patients about the opportunity for transplant. I let them know that UI Health is an excellent transplant center and that we're happy to serve all patients, but especially patients that haven't had luck at other transplant centers. So I spend a lot of times in dialysis centers talking with the patients right before or after they get on or off dialysis treatment, and really just spread the word. And not only do I tell them about our program, but I tell them about our personal story, me and my mom's personal story, and that, I know someone that's been in their spot before, sitting on dialysis, and they have been able to kind of get their life back, So to have an actual story that you can, say, this is my mom and this is how she benefited, you can really see that change people's minds. Because a lot of times people are scared of transplant when they're on dialysis.
Right, yeah. I'm sure that is a scary decision to make for a lot of people, and it sounds like this has become a mission for you as well.
Yes, definitely.
Monica, what does it mean to you that Olivia's been called to work in this field?
Well, it just warms my heart because the work that she's doing is so important. There is so much more awareness that's required around kidney disease and around transplantation and organ donation. So the fact that she is so committed to this just makes my heart so full and makes me so proud.
I can imagine that it
Yeah.
does. Olivia, you are your mom's second kidney donor, but this wasn't your first time offering your kidney. Why did she turn you down the first time?
So the first time she turned me down, at the time that she first got sick and I offered to be her kidney donor, I was still in college at that time. I had not yet graduated. I hadn't really lived an adult life yet. And so that's where a lot of her concern came from. She was worried, what would happen to me? Would I still be able to, live the same life? Would I be able to have a child? All of these things she was worried about. And so when the opportunity came the second time, I pretty much just didn't take no for an answer. But yeah, the first time she told me no, and honestly, now that I am a mother myself, I do see why that was hard for her at that time. So my appreciation for her concern for me has my understanding has grown over the years too.
Yeah, that makes sense. I bet that was very hard for you to accept that gift.
Yes. Yes.
I've heard you joke that kidney was on reserve for you if you needed it in the future, but how did you feel once that became a reality and you knew you were actually going to need it?
Yeah, it was heartwarming because she was offering and she really was adamant about it this time. But as a mother, very difficult to receive that kind of gift from her. But she said to me, what if something happens to you and I could have done something about it? What would I do? And I understood that. I understood how she felt. And we were much more educated about living donation at this time. We also in Illinois had passed the Living Donor Protection Act. So that was important because there were some protections around her job and around insurance and that kind of thing. And she was fortunate that she was working at the center that was going to take care of us. And she had one of the top surgeons in the world who actually did her surgery.
Yeah,
who happens to be your boss.
That had to make you feel kind of confident going into it.
Mm-hmm.
What did your colleagues think when you told them that you were going to donate your kidney to your mom?
So I'd say most of my colleagues were just like, wow, that is so amazing. We're so proud of you. I think it's funniest thinking about what the surgeons said before, and they kind of were just like, oh yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. But for them, they do living donor cases every day, and they knew that I was well educated on it. They knew that my mom was well educated on it. So for them, it was just, kind of a natural next step that would happen, and they're confident in their skills and their outcomes. And so their confidence gave me confidence, and just knowing that's what we were going to do. It was just kind of matter of fact.
Yeah. Did they nominate you as Employee of the Year for walking the walk and talking the talk?
I haven't received the nomination yet, but I do think that they feel that way about me.
You've got my vote.
Thank you.
What was donation day like? What were you feeling as you entered the hospital this time as a donor instead of an employee?
Yeah, so I think we have both talked about how educated we were about this whole thing. But at that time, I think my excitement made me naive about what was actually getting ready to happen at that moment. I was so ready to help my mom, to make her feel better, to make sure she didn't have to go to dialysis anymore. And so on that morning, I felt no inhibitions. I didn't feel afraid at all. I just kind of felt like it's time to get this done. And this is what we're supposed to do. So I was confident. I was very, very confident going into it.
Yeah. And you had to do some prep work beforehand.
Yes.
What did you do to prepare for surgery this time?
So since I had COVID in 22, I had gained a substantial amount of weight because when you're short of breath, it's hard to move a lot. And therefore, I had gained a substantial amount of weight. My BMI was high. And Dr. Benedetti talked to me before I was discharged from the hospital in June and said, you can get another transplant, but I need you to reduce your BMI because women your age have better outcomes when they have a lower BMI. And so I knew what I had to do, and he said you had to get stronger because I had had several cardiac procedures, so I was not very strong. So when I got discharged, Olivia and I joined a gym together. We worked out 3 times a week with a trainer, and she did meal preps for me. So I ate healthy, portion control, low sodium meals, and worked out 3 times a week. And in 4 months, got my BMI down 9 points.
Wow.
And was ready.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting. So living kidney donor, chef, workout partner.
She's
She does
amazing,
it all.
isn't she? She does it all.
How did
Amazing mother.
Yeah. How did you feel when you woke up from surgery with Olivia's kidney?
I felt excited, especially since she was standing in my doorway. When I opened my eyes, that was the first face I saw, and she was standing upright in her hospital gown, waiting for me to wake up. And it was just, I just felt great, and I felt grateful.
That had to feel like an angel was standing by your bedside.
Absolutely. I call her my angel. It was definitely, it was like she had been airlifted from heaven.
Okay, we're both gonna cry now. Olivia, I know you experienced a few post-surgery complications. Can you tell us a little bit about that? It sounds, from what your mom just said, like you popped right out of bed and were fine, but that wasn't quite the case.
Yeah, so I think I popped right out of bed because I was still under some anesthesia. So right away, I felt wonderful. If not that same day of the surgery, the next day after the surgery, I was up and walking around. So that was really cool. You know, you think about having surgery and that you're going to be down for a long time, but it was exciting for me to be able to get up and walk around, and also to be able to show my mom that she was okay and I was okay and it all worked out. But in the weeks after surgery, I did have a bit of a difficult time recovering. I am someone that just generally has kind of like GI issues. I've always kind of had a wonky stomach since I was a kid. And so that did continue while I recovered. Because of the way that they do the surgery, they pump some gas in your stomach and things. And so that's a normal part of the recovery, is that gas has to ease out of your stomach. And there was no medication that really worked to help that for me, help relieve that for me. The only thing that helped me was walking. So I did a lot of walking in my recovery. When I thought I should be sleeping, laying down with my feet up, I had to be up walking. So lucky for me, it was still kind of nice outside after surgery, so I did a lot of walking in my neighborhood. I also ordered a walking pad so that I could walk inside of my apartment without having to go all the way down, bundle up and go all the way down the stairs. So walking was my therapy and my medicine. And I did that. But like I was saying before, I think I was naive because of my excitement for what the outcomes of the surgery were going to be, that I kind of forgot that this is a real surgery where I was under, full anesthesia, and I was, had some cuts. I was cut open a bit. And so it does take that surgery recovery time. That's real. And so yeah, I'm glad to be on the other side of that. I will also say that looking back is a much shorter time. When you're in it, it feels like it's forever. But looking back on it, it was a blip in time, especially for how much my mom suffered and how much time she spent on dialysis. So it was all worth it, even the recovery period.
Don't you love to hear that?
Yes.
What was that like for you as her mother, to see her in discomfort and pain while you're also recovering?
It was the hardest thing ever. Number one, I felt great, so I felt a little bit guilty that she didn't. And I felt bad that I couldn't help her. I could not take care of her, and I'm used to doing that. Thank goodness we have an amazing support system. So her dad was there, and my sister was there, and her friends were there, my parents. And so, it was hard, but we managed it. And I just knew that this was a plan that was ordained by God and that He would bring us through it, and He did.
I felt better knowing that she felt well, even though I was sick. So that helped me, even when I was down.
I completely understand that would be very encouraging in your recovery, to know that the kidney's working, your mom's feeling good.
Yes.
How has your donation affected your work? You said you already share your story with your patients that you work with, but has it changed anything?
I think that it has been a tool for me to break down barriers that people might have, or concerns that people might have about transplant, or what it looks like to be a part of the transplant process. I think that it has given me confidence to keep going out and encouraging people to go and seek out transplant. I was confident before, but even more confident now. And I kind of think our favorite joke right now is that I put my kidney where my mouth is. And I think that that shows every day in my work. So to be able to give somebody a little bit of hope, it's just been the best thing.
I love that. What do you hope other potential living donors take away from your experience?
I want people to know that if they're healthy, that this is something that they can do. Living donation happens very regularly. It's nothing to be afraid of. I think that you should consider helping a family or friend or a loved one if you can, if you are in the position to do so. I also want people to know that living donors are protected, especially in Illinois, with some extended time off, with some different insurance, kind of things. So also, if a living donor ever does become in need for a kidney themselves, they do receive priority on the waiting list if they do find themselves in that position. So there are just a lot of kind of considerations for living donors that were not there before that kind of make it easier to make the decision and feel confident in doing it now. And I hope eventually that's nationwide coverage for living donors. I truly hope, but in Illinois we can feel confident with that.
Yeah, that's.
And one other thing to add is that when a person comes forward to be a living donor, they have to go through a testing process, and it's absolutely the most rigorous physical that you'll ever have. And they are very careful not to allow you to donate if it will bring any harm, any potential harm to you. And so that's important for people to know. If you go through the living donor workup process, if there's anything wrong with you, they're going to point it out. Some people have found out things that they were able to get on top of before it got out of control. So
yeah, that's got to give you some confidence as a potential donor that your body is healthy enough for this surgery. They're not going to harm you. What do you hope, Monica, that other potential transplant recipients take away from your story?
To be resilient, and stay focused and stay ready. So no matter what obstacles come your way, just keep jumping around them and keep moving, because things settle down. Things settle down, but you have to stay on top of it. Transplant is a new normal. It's not the normal that you ever lived before CKD, before kidney disease. It's a new normal, but it's a good life. And I'm happy and I'm living it, and I'm making new memories with my daughter and my grandson and the rest of our family and friends. So that's what I want people to know. Keep living.
Yeah, that's wonderful encouragement. And speaking of your family, you've got an incredible team between the two of you. You've got your family, your care team, your colleagues, your friends. You have so many people in your corner. What advice do you have for someone who has someone going through kidney failure in their village? How can they support them?
Well, education is the key. Understanding what the process is. And if people are going through this, they should reach out to us at the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois, because we have lots of information, lots of resources that people can use to help educate themselves. They can talk to me, they can talk to you. We all are willing to talk people through the process and help them along this journey. So there's a posse out there, and even if it's not right there at home, you can reach out and get help, and we'll pull you in.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, just to add on to that, don't sit on the education. When you learn something, use that as a tool. When you accompany your loved ones to their appointments, be an advocate for them, and don't just take, the first answer as, the end-all, be-all. Use the information that you know to go and, keep seeking out until the right answer, what you feel is the right answer. Don't just take one answer and, kind of be done with it. Just make sure to be an advocate for yourself and your loved ones. Speak up and have the conversations with the doctors. Don't let them talk at you.
I love that. That's so important, to feel empowered when you're in that doctor's office and get the answers right then and there. Yeah. Thank you both for sharing your story with us. You're both so inspiring, and I'm very proud to know both of you.
We're happy to have had this opportunity to share our story.
Thank you for having us.
When The Journey Continues returns, we'll take a pee break. Stay with us.
Got something to say about Chicago? Now's your chance to be heard. Chicago Newsroom 2.0 is launching Opinion, a new segment where everyday Chicagoans take the mic. Whether it's a neighborhood issue that's been ignored, a citywide concern that needs attention, or a fresh idea that could change our city, we want to hear from you. Submit your commentary at cantv.org/opinion. If selected, we'll invite you on air to share your perspective with all of Chicago. Experience the power of community television.
On this edition of the Pee Break, we'll take a look at the precursors of kidney disease and how managing diabetes and hypertension or high blood pressure can help prevent kidney disease from developing. Uncontrolled diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure, accounting for 44% of new cases. Diabetes is when your body is unable to properly manage your blood sugar as a result of insufficient production of insulin or defects in insulin action in the body. Diabetes damages the small blood vessels throughout your body, affecting the kidneys, eyes, heart, and other organs. Uncontrolled hypertension or high blood pressure is the leading cause of kidney failure. Blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against the blood vessel walls as your heart pumps blood through your body. High blood pressure is an increase in the amount of force your blood puts on your blood vessels as it moves through your body.
When you have high blood pressure, it can constrict and narrow your blood vessels, which eventually damages and weakens them throughout the body, including your kidneys. If the blood vessels in your kidneys are damaged, your kidneys are unable to remove all of the wastes and extra fluid from your body, and that extra fluid can cause even more damage. It's important to find out if you have diabetes or high blood pressure so you can control them through diet, exercise, and in many cases, medication. The earlier you can get your diabetes and/or high blood pressure under control, the more likely you are to prevent damage to your kidneys.
The National Kidney Foundation of Illinois offers free screenings through our Kidney Mobile that travels across the state to test for chronic kidney disease, as well as those two main precursors, diabetes and high blood pressure. You'll receive your results same day and even speak with a medical professional about the next steps to taking control of your health. Find a screening near you by visiting nkfi.org. Get screened.
Monica, another great and informative show. Thank you so much for sharing your personal story of faith, family, and resilience with our listeners and viewers.
We're so excited to continue our journey here on CAN-TV, and we hope you'll join us next time. And we'd like to extend our thanks to Donate Life Illinois for making this show possible.
That's our time for now. Thank you for tuning in to The Journey Continues. Share us with the people you love wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And now on demand on cantv.org, the CAN-TV Plus app, and the CAN-TV YouTube channel.
Until next time, the journey continues.